All right, here we go. The Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. Let's get it. Netflix stuff. All right, so our heroes get back into the main town, whatever like that. We found out the admiral's still alive somehow, but he's just not coherent at the time. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to make sure he gets his vitals and all this other stuff. I still don't understand how the hell they were bringing him back to life. It's just crazy. Now, apparently, back to the village. Everybody thinks everything's all hunky dory or whatnot. But David's talking to Sam, and David is the soldier or whatever like that. He's still got all this like electronic equipment and stuff. The thing is, he's still been able to get contact to the other soldiers. So apparently, they're coming back to get the food within like 5 days. So it must have been a little bit of a time went past. You know what I'm saying? So Kora's convinced they're not going to come back if, you know what I mean, the admiral is dead, right? But we all know he's not dead. So basically at this point, Titus gets everybody together and says, look, we got to harvest the food within like 3 days and then got to prepare for this fight. Because bottom line, as soon as they get the harvest, they know the soldiers are going to kill them niggas. So they basically do their harvesting and all that other stuff. Gunner ends up clapping the cheeks, giving Kora the business. And they officially our main couple. Then we get some more of a backstory. We really find out what happened to the king and queen. Turns out the king was trying to shut down his forces or whatever like that because he felt like they were doing a disservice to the galaxies and whatnot. But Balasar wasn't having that. So the king and queen and the princess supposed to meet at a certain spot, right? But it was all a setup because Balasar was telling Kora to actually kill the princess. They ended up killing the king and queen. Before she shot the princess is like, I forgive you or whatever like that. With no choice, she ends up shooting the princess. Done deal dead as shit. We're like, damn. So then Balasar says, hey, yo, there's the traitor. You got to seize her. This is that third. I'm like, what? You forced her to kill the princess. Like, are you serious? But she fights her way out of the area and then escapes. I'm just like, yo, this shit was crazy, yo. So the bloodline had nothing to do with killing the king and queen. It was all Balasar's fault. And that's pretty much when he took over the whole freaking empire. So meanwhile, the admiral's still in this like health tank or whatever like that. He's like, I'm fine. Let me out of here. All this other stuff, right? So then the other assistants or whatever like that, they forced to get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? He's back to normal health again. And he got an indication where Kora could be, whatever like that. Well, obviously he's back at the village or whatever. So he's going to make us set the coordinates back there. I guess it's going to take us some time to get there, you know what I'm saying? So, which will probably be around the time they go over there to get the harvest. So we found out about the robot, the J95 robot. Turns out his name is James. I guess he's got the soul of one of his troops inside of the robot or something like that. I'm not really sure when he used to fight for the king, but yeah. So David keeps giving the truth bullshit so he can stall for time, whatever like that. But the cardinal probably figured out, he was like, yeah, all our troops are dead, you know what I'm saying? Why is he there? He don't want to keep answering the phone. So basically, when it comes down to the villagers, they're basically setting up the crops or whatever like that, but they're going to make sure it's closer to them so that way they don't intend on shooting them and ends up shooting the grains. And they're also setting up all these booby traps and whatnot. They got these detonators inside of the ground, you know what I'm saying? Oh, they got the weapons from the soldiers or whatever like that were killed. So basically, they got their weapons, you know what I'm saying, all types of stuff, ammunition. So they're setting all this stuff up, and you know, and now it's time to get down to the beef. They had their little celebration, you know what I'm saying, because you know you got to celebrate before you go to war. Now, peoples get together, we start hearing backstories, so then Titus tells the truth about what really happened to his men. See, Titus was supposed to go on a mission but Balasar, but the thing is, the people they wanted hunted down were actually his people or whatever like that. So he refused to do it. So the thing was, he was like, look, take me in instead of my men. But the fucked up thing was, they wanted Titus to see what was going to happen or whatever like that. He basically eviscerated all of their men in one shot or whatever like that and let Titus go about his business. I was like, that's fucked up. So then we get to Tarak's story. Now, I told y'all in the first video, Tarak was a prince. So we found out the king had died or whatever like that. And the queen got ill and then she ends up committing suicide. Because Balbasar and his crew attacked them niggas and they just start stomping out everything. They always coming through and invading, destroying shit. So then we get the Nemesis' story. Man, you already know what it is. Balasar and the crew came through and destroyed their whole daggone village and all this shit. Something happened to her hand, so basically she ends up cutting off her own arm and putting Metallica arms on her hands. I'm like, what? She said she's never killed anybody before until after that incident. And then she started slicing up niggas. And then they get the Kora. She really didn't explain herself fully, but she started explaining certain stuff. But we already know her backstory. And Gunner's just a farmer, you know what I'm saying? He's just happy to be of service. But once again, Gunner was the one that saved all them niggas in the first movie. So while they was training how the villagers, how to fight, set up booby traps and stuff like that, Kora ends up finding her ship that she landed in there for like, what, a couple of years ago or something like that. They all help pull it out the dirt or whatever like that. She goes inside and surprisingly, the ship still works. So what she's going to do, she's going to hide the ship in some like a rock or a mountain or waterfall or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't get detected when they come through. So that's their fallback plan. And it's a good thing she did that too. Because Admiral Atticus and the boys that was getting to the destination, he was pretty much figuring out everything, you know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, the women and children are probably over there hiding. He's like, yeah, they got the grain close over there to make sure that we don't blow them up anyway. He pretty much spotted everything before getting there, except for the ship. That's going to be their trump card. So they get there, they land on the planet, and now it's Kora talking to Atticus. It gets to a point where she was almost going to surrender herself to make sure that the planet's safe and everybody's safe, and they're just going to give up the food. But Gunner knows you can't trust that shit. So when they go to hug, you know what I'm saying, and she's about to go on the ship, and then she realizes her gun is gone. Gunner ends up shooting the gong, you know, which he was going to do anyway to facilitate and infiltrate that. Yeah, you hear the sound. Now it's time to set up. And then the beef was on after that. Dude comes out the ground with a rocket launcher, blows up like 3 different ships. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? That's how we get it started? Let's get it started then. And then the beef got started. Atticus goes underground, starts murking niggas. He said, man, they ain't falling for this shit. Whole bunch of niggas fighting Atticus. Atticus ends up getting back on the ship. Nemesis swiping at everybody, whatever like that. But unfortunately, she's the first one to die. They chopped off one of her mechanical arms. The boy ends up saving her, you know what I'm saying, from the last villain, but her wounds are too great and she ends up dying. They knocking off a whole lot of niggas and all of a sudden, more niggas come up. You know what I'm saying? Somebody comes up with a fucking tank. We're like, what the heck is this? They pretty much got Tariq and Titus and all they boys surrounded, whatever like that. All of a sudden, James comes out of nowhere and starts cooking. He breaks the tank gun, hops out of the tank, throws some detonator in there, and blows that shit up. No more tank, nigga. While all this is going on, Kora and Gunner end up getting to the ship, right? So they're trying to fly back up to the ship as other recruits are getting away. But here's their plan. He puts like a smoke bomb outside of the top of the ship, whatever like that. So they're planning to make it seem like they're actually with them. And they're like, oh, man, we're hurt. You know what I'm saying? We need assistance, da-da-da. So it's going to take them to the emergency room. So basically at that point, they get in there. They're dressed like soldiers. Of course, they get their mask. They get up and start the whiffling. So the plan is Gunner's going to get back to the ship. Kora's got a bunch of like explosives or whatever like that. She's going to launch them all around the core of the big ship or whatever. They always call it the King's Gaze or whatever. So basically she got the detonator. She got to find the core of it and blow it the fuck up. While this is going on, Atticus finds out we got some infiltrators or whatever like that. So the thing is, he finds out it's Kora. So what he's deciding to do is have them charge up the cannons and blow up the whole daggone village. And the general talking to him, he's like, what about the grains and the food and stuff like that? He said, look, if we got Kora, we won't need all that shit. We'll be able to get the money for that to buy grains and everything like that. So he's like, all right, charge up the cannons then. So now it's a race between the cannons taking time to charge up and then blowing up the freaking Kora. She almost gets stopped in the elevator and then she starts kicking ass and taking names. She gets to the Kora, throws all the bombs in there, and now she's ready to get the help out of there. She gets back to the door and all of a sudden Atticus is waiting on her with another one of his soldiers. It's just them two. Gunner ends up shooting the dude, but ended up getting caught with a straight bullet by Arcadius. And right when the cannon's about to fire, the detonation goes off, and then it turns the trajectory of the shot in the wrong direction, and it misses the village. And now the ship is going down, and you got this epic beef between Arcadius and Kora. Back and forth with the whiffling, and then right where Kora's about to get done deal, Gunner comes with the sword out of nowhere, stabs him straight through his solar plexus. He ends up falling through this door, and then closing the door on him, and while he's closing the door on him, slices his head clean off. Admiral Acadimus is now done deal daddy shit for real. Now they gotta get on the ship and get the hell up out of there because it's about to crash into the Earth, or whatever planet they're on, the moon. They get in the ship and get out of there, and they're saved. Hooray! But unfortunately, Gunner ends up dying to his wounds. He's done deal daddy shit. Kora can't get nothing, huh? But there's still a bunch of soldiers left, so they're like, damn, what we gonna do? And then all of a sudden, the Bloodlines, twin sister, whatever like that, comes in with the crew and starts lacing niggas. They all get done deal. She lacing them damn soldiers off the strength of her brother. And afterwards, they honor the dead. And then Kora says, don't honor me, I've lied to y'all, you know what I'm saying? But Titus knew exactly what she was talking about from the get-go. But the crazy thing is, Titus for some reason thinks Princess Issa is still alive. I'm like, where the fuck is the evidence of this shit? So I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a part 3 and they talk about the reasoning is like, you know, we gotta go find her, save her, or something like that. I'm like, how do you know she's even still alive? Well, first off, maybe because of the way they was able to revive Acadius. Did they use her power to put inside of the ship or whatever like that, so he could be able to, you know, use those genetics or something like that to be able to revive him or something? I mean, is that possibility that she could still be alive because of that? Like, I'm like, there's no other evidence other than that. I'm just confused on that part. Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scar Giver. On Netflix, check it out.